Oh man. I had a really rough night last night. I I'm sure some of you have been following along with my complaints about my health. I had a rough night last night because for the past couple nights I've been dealing with another gastritis flare up, which means that the lining of my stomach is depleted and it's very raw. It burns. It's worse than heartburn. And it takes time to heal. Normally, stress and dehydration, diet. I mean, there's a few different things, food triggers that can cause this to flare up, right? So pretty much you're eating these spicy foods, you're eating the deep fried foods, you're drinking alcohol, you're eating chocolate, you're eating sugar, and it's just wearing away at the lining. Like there's a mucus film in your stomach that protects it. And when you deplete that film, thus gastritis. Well, it was a rough couple nights, and I take half of an omeprazole, which is a PPI which blocks acid production, so that acid isn't continuously being pumped into my stomach and causing more irritation. I take half of, I found these like dissolvable ones, and I take half of it so that it only lasts 12 hours and not 24 because it just causes more problems when it's 24. And I take like 2 Tums just to help with like, whatever. So I've been taking slippery elm, and slippery elm is a natural herbal supplement that helps rebuild the stomach lining. And I've been taking it, but the thing is I'm allergic to tree pollen. So by taking it can also trigger an immune response in my system. So I'm introducing this immune reaction by taking something that's supposed to help heal my stomach, but it's also causing allergic reactions. So it's a vicious cycle. So I was, like I said, the burning, the pain, the inflammation from the gastritis, it all hurts in your stomach. Everything is raw and inflamed. So it's a process, right? It's not an overnight fix. Well, I was at like 2 a.m. and I was like scrolling through Facebook, and I found this, like son and dad were talking about something, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is, but it was like some webinar, and I was like, I sign up for them, and I don't watch them, and sometimes I watch them later and whatever, and I try to just get bits of information. Well, the only time to watch it, like last night, was like 5 a.m. I was like, it's 2, like I'm going to bed, I'm not watching this. So I got up, and this morning I lost it. I was really upset with God. I started bawling my eyes out. I was frustrated. I was like, listen, I was like, it's in your word that you said I'm healed. Like, why am I not healed? Why am I still living with this? And I understand that, yes, it's my diet choices and things that I'm doing that are ultimately impacting my health because it's my responsibility to do what I need to do on my end. But I also firmly believe that, I was saying this, I was crying and I was yelling at God, and I was like, listen, I was like, you've said I'm healed. I'm holding you accountable. And I was so upset. I was like, I've surrendered to your will. You moved me. You've given me a chance at life. And yet I'm still dealing with this. So then I get back on Facebook and I go into my memories. And it was 9 years ago that I was dealing with such severe heartburn and all of this, the same thing. I've been sick for 9 years. So I cried out to God again. I was really irritated. I just was over it. You know how depression can set in, the suicidal thoughts can set in, and you're just like, I'm done, I'm just over it, I'm not doing this anymore, it's been 9 years, I've been sick, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I'm like, Lord, I believe you can heal me, why haven't you healed me yet? And again, just like knowing again, it's partially my responsibility. There are things that I have to do and not do, right? He tells us to take care of our body. One of the biggest things I haven't done is guard my heart. So of course I've let in a lot of things and people and whatnot. And so I started, I got up and I was like, whatever. I said my Our Father prayer, and again, I surrendered to his will and I prayed for the salvation. Some of you are on my prayer hit list, so watch out. And so I got up and I started watching this video. It was like 45 minutes long, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch all this. So I skipped ahead a little bit. And then like I watched some things, and then I started to like screen record so that I could go back to it later. Well, I came out on the couch and I was sitting here and like I started writing out, and the thing that he had written out, or that I had written out, was he said the 5 R's. And really, ultimately, what he was discussing was that all of the supplements and all of these things that we're doing that are attempting to make our body healthy aren't working if the cells in our body are inflamed. Our hormones need to attach to these cells, and if they're unable to because it's unable to come in contact with the cell membrane, because if you consider the fact that if the cell's inflamed, it's not allowing supplements in and toxins out, and everything is just messed up and there's inflammation, these hormones can't attach, things aren't getting in, there's going to be a ripple effect, and it's going to cause things like MS and gastritis and constipation and heartburn and all these other issues and brain issues and brain fog and just depleted exhaustion, or just, completed energy and you're exhausted. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to sign up for this. I'm going to do it. He's like, oh, $497, percentage off today's fee, $97 to get this testing for these heavy metals and toxins in the system. And I was like, Lord, you have to provide the funds that I need for this. You have to. I was like, I can't afford this, but we're going to do it. If you led me here, we're going to join this program. We're going to do it. Well, all of a sudden, I started reading through the reviews and people were talking about toxins, heavy metals, removals. And I remember that I had ordered this spray. It's called TRS. T as in Tom, R as in Ryan, S as in Sam. Look it up. It binds to the toxins and heavy metals and draws them out of the system. All of a sudden, I realized the price of the program was the exact price that I paid for that spray. It's not a cheap spray. And I'm not going to admit that it is, and I'm not, whatever, but all of a sudden I'm looking here and it says the 5 R's. If you take the 5 out, TRS. And that's the spray God called me to, like 2 years ago. And I was praying with a good friend of mine, Lindsay, and God had told me probably like 2 months ago, take the TRS spray. I took it for a couple days and I didn't take it again. So I got my prayers answered. It's a matter of removing toxins and heavy metals from the system to reduce the cell inflammation so that these supplements that we're taking and these vitamins and minerals that we're attempting to get into our bodies actually get to where they need to be in the cells. It's like if you were to just take a multivitamin and dump it all over you, right? Like it's not getting to where it needs to be. But if you're taking it internally, it's if your cells are inflamed and they're not able to absorb properly, they're not able to do their job. So considering the fact that I can take omeprazole, I can take Tums, and I can reduce the inflammation, I can cut out the foods, I can switch my diet, I can drink my weight in water, I can do what I need to do. But again, if these things aren't getting into my cells, I'm not going to be healed, right? Because temporary fixes and band-aids and things that we're doing aren't long-term results. So God answered my prayers this morning after I bawled my eyes out, and now I have a slight headache, and I'm, but it's so simple. Our bodies aren't fully able to remove these toxins. And a lot of these things, you'll find that dementia is stored up in the brain. And if you're not able, like our bodies aren't really able to pull out the aluminum, things that contribute to, the cellular inflammation. So it's really quite interesting. So to consider the fact that we have this, if our bodies aren't able to properly flush out these toxins, they stay stored and they wreak havoc, right? It becomes septic in a sense. And so it contributes, like I said, to your MS, to your brain fog, there's a ton of sickness and disease. And a lot of people would contribute, healing to like a vegan diet, and that's great. And a lot of those things help because why? It's reducing inflammation. So we need to take it a step further. We're not just reducing inflammation in the stomach, we're reducing inflammation on a cellular level. So with that being said, what do? Oh yeah, Danny, hey girl. I'm gonna look into TRS. I'm telling you right now, God's called me to it twice now, or 3 times, probably more than that. Google TRS, join the Facebook group. I can send you the link, but I will tell you, I have seen people's testimonies they have like autistic nonverbal children that are like like 4 or 5 years old that have been nonverbal for that long and taking these sprays, their story is these children become verbal from this. So considering the fact that there's so many toxins and heavy metals that say stored up in the brain, that say stored up in the cells, and the cells are too inflamed to take on the proper supplements and remove the toxins that need to be removed so that it can function properly. I just think it's absolutely amazing and it's mind-blowing. So I'm going to document it. I'm going to get on it. And the thing is we have to be consistent. So there has to be a point where we have to be like, I've been sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've been sick for 9 years. Like, I'm over it. My stomach is so inflamed. I mean, even water makes it feel bad, but it's a process. So like, I can go a little bit and cheat and drink and have fun, and then all of a sudden I'm in a flare up again, and my stomach takes 2 to 10 days. Sometimes it feels like 2 weeks to heal my stomach, and I'm taking all this crap, and what is it doing? Building up more toxins and heavy metals in my system. So I definitely highly recommend T as in Tom, R as in Ryan, S as in Sam, TRS. Start doing your research. Start realizing the impact from your body storing up these toxins and heavy metals. I think I attempted to do a research paper for college one time about something along these lines, but they told me I couldn't, so I ended up doing it on red meat instead. But either way, with the red meat, when it's charred, it converts to a carcinogen in the body and it stays stored in the system, right? So interesting. So I did just take slippery elm because my stomach is so inflamed. So the slippery elm helps coat the stomach. And so I did that this morning. I don't know if maybe I'll start it tonight or tomorrow. It's just like you can do 1 spray in the morning, 1 spray at night, anywhere from 1 to 5 sprays. It doesn't interact with anything. I personally take mine an hour away. I take all supplements and vitamins and everything an hour apart. I am very sensitive to things. So if I were to mix something, like, I will get real sick from it. And so I do an hour. But some people don't have side effects, but start doing your research on this. And this spray, I mean, there's a lot of people. I got turned on to it 2.5 years ago, and I bought it and I never did anything with it. And I feel like right now is the right time. So, I will definitely let you know. But start doing your research on it, start learning about it and see. It's not cheap, but you can get it, you can get a little bit cheaper. And if not, if you're spending a lot of money on a bunch of other things that aren't able to do what they need to do until we start from a cellular level. So, all right, I just had to share all that because it was a really rough night, rough morning. I really yelled at God today. I was very upset with him. And it's not just him. I know that there's things I need to do, but really just like, Lord, you say I'm healed. Like, it's your word. You declare. I was holding him accountable. I'm like, listen, you say I'm healed. In your word, there's healing. I am not exempt from this healing. And so healing can often come from the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that, like, we're led to. And so again, like, there are things I need to do. I can't go out drinking alcohol every night and expect to feel good. It's not how things work. I can't eat a bunch of sugar and expect it not to trigger me into a binge. So there are things I have to do, but yeah. Right. And so that's the other thing, like, it's a process. It's not an overnight fix. It's a journey. And like, we have to take this spray in addition to a proper diet and watching. So like, I use a spray deodorant, and I actually made one myself because I ran out, and I just did water, purified water with Epsom salts, and then I did Tito's vodka, but I'm going to switch it. I found a potato vodka because I'm trying to stay away from corn, but you can use witch hazel, but I found that the vodka really kills the bacteria and like, you don't smell. Like, I've been using it for years, so like, my body's adapted to it. But the Epsom salts and the vodka in the deodorant, and so I'm not introducing any more aluminum or any junk into my system, so it's already stored in there. We want to remove it, right? So we're going to go through and we're going to figure out what we're going to eliminate out of our lives to start reducing the amount of toxins and heavy metals that we're taking in on a daily basis. Because if you start doing your research, Danny, I'm sure you're well aware, we're introduced to, how many chemicals are in one lotion, and then our hair products, and then our face products. And so, 123 chemicals in our lotion. That's getting into our bloodstream. Then we put a face makeup on. How many? Like 100 and some chemicals in that. And then, you know, we're putting in a hairspray and we're breathing that. It's getting in our skin. So that's another 100. So we have like 400 chemicals from 3 different things. And that's just one thing that we've put in our system. So we get a buildup of these toxins and heavy metals. And if we're not like sweating out and drinking water and, you know, proper diet, in addition, you know, we're not able to flush out these toxins and heavy metals. And so they're building up and then they're wreaking havoc. So it takes us a really long time to get here, and the sickness and the disease and the pains and the joint pains and the aches and the headaches and the fatigue that come out as symptoms from this ripple effect from this inflammation. So we have to understand that it's not an overnight fix. It's going to take time. So we have to be consistent with it. But yeah, start looking into that. And like I said, I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna document it. I don't know. I feel like I try not to do too much on YouTube because you know how I can rant. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I can literally talk for hours. But I'm going to try to just document things and maybe do every 2-3 months and maybe 6 months and see where we're at. But I'm definitely going to start it and I'm going to get on it. And I will let everybody know. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. I can refer you over to the guy that I watched this morning. I can send you a link for the TRS. I mean, really just doing your information about cell inflammation and toxins and heavy metals and the side effects associated with them. So awesome. Love you guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. And yeah, I'm excited. So we'll see how this goes.